Fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Peruzza MMA. We got a recurring guest on the show. We got Mr. Anthony Orozco, undefeated top mixed martial artist, going into battle Friday. Cage Warriors 184, England, taking on Andrey Augusto. Fight that kind of just got announced very, very recently. I think just made last week. I just found out about it a few hours ago. Anthony, you get to do a great main event opportunity. Cage Warriors on the biggest regional promotions. It was pretty cool when you got the phone call.
Yeah, when I got the main event phone call, I was taken by surprise, especially because the main event originally was supposed to be a title fight with George Hardwick, and I'm filling some big shoes, but I'm ready to fill those shoes. I was just going through my 5 professional fights, just looking at like the clips through my Instagram, and dude, I have some great finishes. So I know that they trust me to get in there and just create some flow state violence and have the fans enjoy what they love watching the most,
So when exactly did this get booked? Were you always going to England, or is this just something you found out before you found out last week and then that's why you're there now?
So I was initially focusing on early February for a fight. That fight being the Ultimate Fighter. I was one of the 10 guys that was in the hotel, but they ended up not going with me because I was a little low on experience comparatively to the other guys. If you look at the roster that they chose, they have an average of like 12 fights, some with 20, some with, average of 12 fights. So I was there. I was by the nick of my teeth, didn't make it, but I was ready for the tournament of my life. So let's just roll it right through. My manager was ready to go. He wanted me to keep my camp. I did a camp, so he wanted me to keep my camp, my conditioning and everything. So we rolled it right through, and we're looking towards Manchester. We were looking for some opponents for a while, but you know the deal. We don't really have a lot of guys willing to say yes, but we do have a gamer in Andrey Augusto, and he's a tough guy. He's fought another tough welterweight in Cage Warriors, so he's no wuss, he's a gamer. He comes to win. So I'm excited.
You've been a dominant prospect on the regional scene. One of the main reasons you pick up so many great finishes. You look over your record here on Topology. I mean, countless wins by ground and pound punches. That last one over Salas that needed the body and punches there. Is that something you take a lot of pride in? You love going out there and, getting the fans all excited and pick up a big finish?
Yeah, it's what the main event guys do. They look for finishes, and in different ways. Like you alluded to, I have ground and pound finishes. I have finishes from the feet. I have some submissions. Actually, an amateur, I don't have a submission yet, but maybe I go for the submission on this black belt this weekend. But like you're alluding to, I have a style. I have an MMA style. I'm a true MMA alchemist. That's my YouTube name I went with, because I really do feel like I have the chemistry to mix it all, and that's what main event guys have, because I'm looking for the finish any way, shape, or form. I'm not a one-trick pony.
You're so young in your career, 5-0 already, but you're getting ready. You're fighting a big main event card over in England. It's kind of crazy to think, we have so much more we want to accomplish. We have so much more dreams and goals we want to chase. But is it crazy to look at what we've accomplished so far?
Yeah, it's wild to look back. It's only been 3 years in this MMA journey, and I'm finding my groove. And dude, imagine 8 years, it took me 7-8 years to master wrestling and become the national champ. Imagine 7-8 years in MMA if I'm doing this well with 3 years. So I'm just excited for the future. I'm going to stay diligent, because I know what my potential is. So keep my nose on the grindstone and keep grinding.
You mentioned your YouTube channel a little bit, and we talked about this first time we talked, but we're in an age of entertainment and combat sports. Really, to be a huge name right now, obviously you have to be a great fighter, but if you have that personality, if you have that following, the sky's the limit. Is that something you're really trying to focus on?
It's something I am trying to focus on. It's at the end of the day, I have the same mindset as last time. At the end of the day, I'm trying to make millions. I'm trying to retire, and I'm trying to have my farm with my girl, with my 5 kids. And in this economy, you can't have all that without the millions first, So yeah, I know I have the personality. I know I'm chill. I'm a chill guy. So I know there's other chill guys, and I know we'd resonate. And I know I like MMA. I like, you know what I mean? We all like the same shit. So I just want to be a homie to everyone. And hopefully that shines through in the YouTube. It's not just like vlogs, but it's also going to be like helpful content for MMA stuff. So it's the full alchemy of like what goes into becoming a professional MMA fighter and being the best one that you can be. So yeah.
There's so many different gyms around the world, and I think your one is really cool, the MMA Fight Academy. Last time we talked, you mentioned that, in addition to training and everything, you guys are also giving like media lessons, social media lessons, and really an ability to understand the business side of things. How beneficial do you think that is?
Oh, bro, like anything, I'd say like one of the mantras in life is just get reps. And I'm getting reps. I'm getting repetitions with media. I'm getting repetitions with the cameras. I'm getting repetitions with interviews. I used to be terrible at interviews. When I look back on the ones like I was doing in my amateur days, it was just like inorganic feeling and just gross. So, bro, I have reps under my belt now, and that's the name of the game. So I'm feeling great. I love my gym for so many reasons, but that's one of them.
So we're taking on Andrey Augusto on Friday. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
I was mentioning earlier, he's got experience. He's got 5 times the experience as me. He's got 25 fights. I have 5 professional fights, so that's quick math right there. He's got 5x the experience. As far as violence goes, I don't feel like he's very violent. I don't feel like he's got much damage in him. But I do think he's really good at pinning, and I think he's really good at staying calm under fire. So it's going to be kind of me working around his first line of defense, and then hopefully I find a chink in his armor, find a body shot, find something destructive and violent, and hopefully I get the finish in the first, second, or third round. I'm expecting a lot of flow state violence out of me. I'm expecting him to try and pin me down and keep me at bay, trying to hold me. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not very easy to hold. I'm a 2-time national champion for a reason,
In this day and age, I really don't think there's really such thing as a short notice fight. Obviously in this shoes, you're going off of here about 2 weeks, but to be in the UFC, to be a world-class fighter, you have to be training year round. I mean, the days of fighting and staying on the couch for 2 months and getting fat and going back to the gym, yeah, that's not going to work anymore. And if they do, I don't know how they're doing it. With that being said, do you feel like since you do train almost every single day, do you feel it makes it a lot easier to stay ready and take a fight like this?
Absolutely, bro. Last time we talked, it was after my win in December, and the opportunity to fight, the next one was this one. So that's just kudos to my gym for keeping the doors open all the time, high level doors open all the time, paying all the guys to come out and train and keep spiraling upwards. Yeah, it kickstarts our career, and it lights a fire under our career. Like there's nothing like a guy with momentum, when I see a guy that's fought once every year, not impressed, because he does have those gaps. Like, what were you doing in those gaps? Probably nothing, So the momentum speaks volumes, and the UFC likes momentum, and they like vicious momentum. So that's why I'm looking for the finish this 6th fight.
It's pretty amazing. You're the main event here. When you look at past Cage Warrior main events, all the great names, all the former champions now in the UFC, now doing huge, huge things. Does this really motivate you and instill I'm close? Like maybe, a win over here. Maybe I get that title shot. Maybe the UFC, it's not too far away.
Yeah, I've had a couple people. I don't know the ins and outs of what's what with what win, I've only been in the game for a couple years, but I've had people mention to me like, oh, you get a win, that's instant UFC call up. You get this win, instant UFC call up. You get this win, instant belt title, belt shot, So obviously I'm taking big fights. I'm taking big steps. I'm always looking for big opportunities. So, dude, at the end of the day, I'm trying to get my flag up in my gym. And you only get a flag if you're the Cage Warriors champ. And you only become a Cage Warriors champ is if you take these big fights and get big finishes in the main events that you take on short notice. So company man, And the alumni that I'll be along with, my flag will be next to Connor's. It'll be next to Patty's. It'll be next to Bisping's. It'll be next to Molly McCann's. Like, yeah, come on. We're ready.
You're really starting to get a lot of heat. A lot of guys who follow mixed martial arts, especially the got diehards like myself, the regional scene, know who you are. You're emerging as one of those top prospects. Are you starting to feel the buzz and the attention on social media and other avenues?
Yeah, I mean, the time that I felt it the most, I think I might have said this last time, was my last fight. Like, just had won my fight via that body shot, and then when I was going back to my corner and going back to my family, like, I couldn't get to them because there was a line of people that wanted to take a picture, and that was new to me. Honestly, I was like, kind of, whoa, I was a little shocked and taken back, but it was a crazy feeling. So that's the only time I've really felt it. The social media thing, that's just fucking, I don't even know. My YouTube only has 400 views, so it's not rolling just yet for me. It's not where I want it to be, as far as those numbers, those analytics. But in person, live, having a line of people waiting to shake your hand and take a picture is crazy. And it was a new experience, and it was a fun one.
For you, how cool is it when you have, younger fighters or kids reach out to you on social media and be like, hey, I look up to you. You inspire me. I want to try to get to where you're at.
Bro, that's at the end of the day, that's the job that I want to do. I want to be a wrestling coach or an MMA coach. Those kids that I can help, and even the adults that are at my gym that I've noticed that have said that I've helped them in their life, like, that's the goal. Like, when I have my sons, I want to make better men. So I just want to make better people, help them out. And yeah, it's an amazing feeling, truly.
You really do have an amazing wrestling pedigree, and it's really translating well into mixed martial arts. How has that whole transition, obviously by doing the wrestling for as long as you did, transition into MMA, did it make it a lot easier, you feel?
Yeah. My first amateur fight, I hadn't done any traditional MMA training. I had only sparred with my roommate in our living room and maybe the park a couple times. And you know what? I still went into the fight. No coach, my roommate as my coach. I went into the fight and, took some shots, felt uncomfortable, did a little weird spin because I got jabbed in the face, but then I level changed and double leg slammed the guy, got the TKO finish. So yeah, it's helped a lot. And it comes out the most when I'm fully engaged, fully flow stating, and yeah, it helps a lot. It's beautiful.
We have a term in this day and age, and it's called the casual fan. And, these people, they like to go to the B-dubs. They like to get drunk. They like to yell, like twist them, and all of these obscenities. You're a type of dude, very charismatic, great personality, the life of the party. You feel like you're a type of guy that's really, these casual fans are really going to feed into?
I do. I really do. I really do. And I've done spinning elbows. I've taken guys down and then said, you know what, stand up, and then knocked them out on the feet after. Like, that's also the goal. That's the fun part, and impressing those guys, those are the jocks of the world, like, I like to impress the guys who know their stuff, because I also know my stuff and I respect knowing some real techniques. But I also want to impress those guys that are fucking drinking beers and eating wings, and I want them to say, bro, look at this guy. You should have seen his fight last time. He got a fucking crazy knee knockout, So yeah, I always am trying to allude to those guys. The casual fans are the lifeline of this shit,
Obviously the casuals love the excitement, the entertainment, the violence of it. They don't see the sacrifices of being a mixed martial artist. So obviously, you're not making crazy millions of dollars on the regional scene. Not quite yet, at least. A lot of guys have that 9-to-5 job. Some have kids, wives, all this stuff. Most guys have to pay to train. You have to miss birthdays, weddings, Thanksgivings. You really have to dedicate your whole life to this. I'm sure you've experienced the highs and the lows that the sport has to offer. What's been things that have just been keeping you sticking forward and keep punching and kicking?
I'd say my why. My why is just being the best martial artist I can be. And that's the why. Coming into every practice, you really have, if you're tired, I really center myself every time and create an intent, and I'm saying, all right, how am I going to get better at MMA today? And that's the goal. Eventually it's going to be, how am I going to be a better father? Eventually it's going to be, how am I going to be a better grandfather? How am I going to be a better businessman? But as of right now, mandatorily, how am I going to be better at MMA today?
What's the biggest takeaway you want fans, you want your MMA peers to take away from your career in combat sports?
Bet on yourself. I'd say bet on yourself. It's the name of the game for me since I started wrestling. You know, I wasn't ever supposed to be the best wrestler, but I bet on myself, and I switched schools as a sophomore in high school. I was mature enough to know that that was something that I needed to do. I needed to bet on myself, move schools, go to a better coach, because I didn't have what I needed here. I bet on myself, and I switched gyms when I got the opportunity to switch from the arena to the MMA Fight Academy. Bet on yourself, you know. If it doesn't work out, whatever, you're going to die anyways.
So here we are, we're fight week. Been doing this professionally for a couple years now. What is that feeling like for you on that Monday, Tuesday of fight week? Do you feel that excitement? Do you have something pounding in your chest?
Yeah, I'm really always like on Monday. So I got here on Sunday. So for the past 3 days, I've just been sitting like at night wishing it was fight day. You know, I just want it to be here so I can do my job, because at the end of the day, my job is those 15 minutes, and I'm just so excited for that. And every time I get excited and think about how I want it to be that day, start thinking about all the possible things that was going to happen in the fight, my heart rate starts to rise, my hands start to sweat, I start to get nervous, and then I start to remind myself, don't worry about it, buddy. You're the best in the world. You'll handle business in a couple days. Just stop thinking about those peanut butter cups that you can't have right now that are in your fridge.
Do you feel that fighting is more mental than it is physical?
Yeah, I do. Every time I've lost a fight, it's mentally I wasn't in the right space. There was a doubt, and it grew into more of a cancer. It grew larger and larger. Every single time I've lost, it's because of that. It's
All right.
hugely mental, 90% mental. Physical is as well. The physical part is, you know, but to be chiseled, to be conditioned, that was it took mental fortitude that time, you know? So honestly, it might be all mental. I don't even know.
All right, Anthony, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you take on Andrey Augusto for Cage Warriors this Friday?
I want to show all my tools. I want to show the elbows that I've been working on. I want to teep him to the gut. I want to kick him. I want to outposition him. So the perfect outcome is to show that there are levels to this game, and to show that AO's level is not of this competition level. I'm ready for the big show. I'm ready for the big fights. I'm ready for the big opportunities. I've shown it before, but I'll show it again against a really good opponent here.
Absolutely. Well, Anthony, hey, man, thank you again for talking to me. Very excited to see your name on the card this morning. Awesome. It's a main event. I think this is going to be one of your really big steps to get to where you want to be. But I wish you nothing but the best, my friend.
Let's go. Stoked.
Absolutely. That's it for us tonight. I am Carl Prusa. He is AO. He is Anthony Orozco. Watch him. Cage Warriors 184 main event contest taking on Andrey Augusto. It's going to do big things. Take it easy, fight fans.